Hey everyone, Nubkeks here. If you want your enemy team Deathwings to feel that pain and agony that the trailer talked about for Cataclysm, well, you've come to the right place here, because I'm going to cover the top 5 counters to Deathwing in Heroes of the Storm in today's video. Before we dive into the list, I very briefly want to talk to you guys, though, about the Irish Whiskey magazine. So, as most of you guys know from how I pronounce PTR, obviously the 100% correct way to pronounce things, I am from Ireland. And last week I got the opportunity to do some work with the Irish Whiskey magazine, which was a lot of fun. And I said to them that I'd let you guys know about it as well. It's a relatively new magazine. It's been around for about 2 years. There's been 8 issues so far, and the 9th issue I think is due out anytime around about this month, so something of a Christmas release. But yeah, if any of you guys are whiskey lovers, you might be interested in checking it out for yourself. And if you know any whiskey lovers, and you're still struggling for ideas for what to get them for Christmas, well hey, this might be a good shout too. So I'll stick the link in the description and in the card on screen here. And you guys can feel free to check it out if you're interested. And without any further ado, let's dive into the top 5 counters for Deathwing. The first counter I want to talk about today is Valla. She has 3 key features that really help against Deathwing, I think. Number 1, movement speed. Deathwing is very slow, very cumbersome, and his abilities have a very large wind up to them. If you've got good movement speed, good mobility, you can simply sidestep or walk out of those or dodge out of those and avoid the damage entirely. Number 2 is range, which really ties into the whole movement thing. Ranged heroes, especially with mobility, are able to kite backwards. They're able to simply run circles around Deathwing and just keep running away from him while still doing damage. And he really struggles to actually catch up and close that gap. And then number 3 is max percentage health damage. Deathwing is very much protected by armor when he's at high health, and every time he loses armor plates he becomes more vulnerable to normal damage. But any damage that does maximum percentage health based damage will do full damage. It doesn't get affected by armor, completely bypasses it. So that can really help you shred through that health and start breaking those early plates in order to focus him down better. Valla has 2 key talents, I think, in order to counter Deathwing. Hot Pursuit at level 1 and Manticore at level 16. Hot Pursuit gives Valla an extra 10% movement speed when she's at 10 stacks of hatred, plus some mana regen, but the really important thing here is that extra move speed. She'll be at 20% bonus movement speed when her hatred is stacked up. Extremely easy to simply run away from Deathwing, extremely easy to dodge all of his abilities, and to just keep plinking away with your basic attacks and slowly wearing him down. Manticore at 16 is a massive power spike. Every 3rd basic attack against the same target will deal an additional 5% of their maximum health as damage. This is where all that move speed and running around and plinking away suddenly becomes running around and chunking away at Deathwing's health. That max health damage will shred through him. It will bypass all of that armor and just give you a very constant pressure, really, from Valla is I think the key thing. Constant high pressure against Deathwing, wearing him down and tearing away those armor plates. The second counter I want to talk about here today, going a little bit outside of the box, because people are really looking at the damage counters for the most part, and I think that does make sense, but I want to mention a healing counter. I actually think that Lucio is going to be a very good healer against Deathwing. Going back to what I said about Valla, movement speed, mobility is really important against Deathwing. And what does Lucio bring? Well, he brings the ability to give his entire team a big movement speed buff. So if you see that Deathwing is about to engage on your team, or you're caught out, he's landing on top of you in an awkward position, you can amp up that speed boost and get everybody out of there, which I think is phenomenally strong. On top of that, Lucio brings a lot of AoE healing across his whole team, and that's really what Deathwing does. Deathwing isn't really about single target focus fire. He's all about doing AoE damage, slowly kind of wearing down the entire enemy team, burning them down with his massive attacks. And Lucio kind of counters that. Number 3 then is Tychus. Yes, Tychus is renowned as a tank killer throughout the game thanks to his minigun, which adds percentage-based damage to his just regular basic attacks. By default, Tychus fires 4 times per second, and it adds 2.5% max health damage to each of those attacks. So by default, you're shredding off 10% max HP per second that you're firing with the minigun. So that's pretty solid. And again, remember, all that maximum health percentage damage is not affected by armor. So when Deathwing lands in at full health with all of his armor plates, that 40 armor will not protect him at all, and it's a great way to start trading those armor plate. There's one, I think, key talent for Tychus to take against Deathwing, and that comes actually at level 4 in the bigger they are. And that's one of the things that's so scary about Tychus, if you're playing as Deathwing, is that he's getting his power spike against you pretty much right at the start of the game. You only have like 3 levels when he doesn't have this, and what are you really going to get done then? The bigger they are, lowers the cooldown of minigun by 2 seconds, which is nice. But more importantly, it increases the damage bonus to 4% max health damage per basic attack, while enemy heroes are above 35% health, but it no longer has any effect on targets below 35% health. You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? And Deathwing is pretty much the biggest there is. So this talent is absolutely perfect for him. The downside of the talent doesn't even really matter that much, because again, bearing in mind that armor that Deathwing has, once he's below 35% health, you know, 10% more damage, and he's down to 1 armor plate. That's only 10 armor. He starts to die really fast when he gets lower on life. It's when he's high in life that he's a real terror, and the bigger they are completely counteracts that. Tychus does have some other bonus talents. I think Titan Grenade at level 16 is pretty good too. Makes Frag Grenade to 5% max health damage to heroes. It's not game changing, but it's actually a nice little bonus. At level 13, that's the stuff. Makes Minigun heal Tychus for 100% of the bonus damage done to heroes after the ability ends. I think that's actually pretty nice as well. You could actually take some damage from Deathwing. You can be a bit more risky to punish him when he does engage. You can take damage and just expect that you'll heal it up afterwards. You can get away with that. In second place then, I have Leoric. But certainly out of all the heroes, I think that Leoric stands apart as being the hero who is designed just in almost in every way, in every part of his kit, to counter Deathwing. Let me just drag you in here, okay? We've got the full talent build here. Again, we're using Hero's Hearth to show you these talents in this particular video. Okay, let me show you the W build here. We've got 4 talents that I think combo in a very powerful way to completely decimate Deathwing. Drain Momentum, I think, is probably overall going to be your best level 7 talent no matter which way you're going with the build against a Deathwing. Drain Hope no longer slows Leoric, and if it lasts its full duration, gain 30% move speed for 4 seconds. So against, let's say, a lot of other tanks do have mobility skills and such that they can get out of the way of Drain Hope. Deathwing is super limited, so this makes it very easy to stay in range and to maintain that. It also enables you to just Drain Hope on Deathwing and get the full value out of Drain Hope while sort of kiting him around and not taking damage from his basic attacks, because Deathwing does hit relatively hard. So I think this is going to be a really good one to pick up. At level 13, Unyielding Despair. Reduces Drain Hope's cooldown by half a second for every second it's active, and if it lasts the full duration, its cooldown is reduced by an additional 3 seconds. And again, considering how easy this should be to land on Deathwing and to channel on Deathwing, it's going to let you spam out those Drain Hopes, doing big percentage health damage to Deathwing himself, while also healing up Leoric as well. Crushing Hope at 16 is where it starts to get pretty disgusting, actually. If Drain Hope lasts its full duration, it instantly deals 15% of the target's max health as damage. It doesn't heal Leoric. That doesn't really matter though, because that's a massive chunk out of Deathwing. He's going to pierce right on through an armor plate. Pretty brutal for Deathwing to deal with that. And again, it's so easy to stay in range, and it's so easy to get the cooldown reduction. You're going to be throwing these out all over the place. You're going to do... You could get off multiple of these in the same team fight against a Deathwing, and what's he going to do about it? Then at level 20, Hardened Bones. Gain 50 armor while Drain Hope is active. If Drain Hope lasts its full duration, retain the armor bonus for 2 seconds. This is just going to let you tank through anything Deathwing can throw at you. It's going to let you tank through his teammates when they come at you as well. Yeah, it's just hard to see how a Deathwing team will deal with this. But wait, it gets even better. I think another incredible option is going to be something like this, okay? Spectral Leech. Basic attacks against enemy heroes do bonus damage equal to 2.5% of the hero's maximum health. And heal Leoric for twice that amount. Poor Deathwing, he's having a miserable time. And you stick that with Mithril Mace, which increases Leoric's attack speed by 20% and gives a repeatable quest that can increase that by an additional 30%. Yeah, Leoric seems pretty crazy. He's pretty damn good against Deathwing. And finally then, in first place, I've put in Greymane, which is probably a surprise to some people, but having played against this is the one that felt the most obnoxious to play against. the big deal here, he has some nice things going for him, right? He can get on the prowl at level 13, which gives you 30% move speed, just permanently up while your inner beast is active once that's been active for 3 seconds. That's mounted movement speed bonus while you're on foot with that inner beast. If you take Quicksilver Bullets at level 7, increasing your human basic attack range by 20%, it's so easy to just, it's like Valla on steroids in that sense in terms of the mobility. You could just run circles around Deathwing, just plinking away with those bullets, slowly wearing him down and just being untouchable by Deathwing himself. There's even a max health percentage based talent at level 16 called Alpha Killer, which you don't really see that often. But against Deathwing, I think it's going to be a good pickup, which makes your working basic attacks do bonus 3% max health damage as well. Now, where this gets really disgusting though, and the thing that makes Greymane number 1 on this list and not something like, he'd probably be something like, number 4 otherwise, because what he's got so far is good, but it's not disgusting. Not like this. Cursed Bullet. Well, that really hurt. Holy crap. I'm out of here. That really hurt. Greymane shapeshifts into a human and fires a bullet that hits the first enemy hero in its path, dealing 40% of their current health and damage. I'm going in, boys. I'm going out again. Now, what makes this disgusting is a couple of things. Number 1, I think that against a full health Deathwing, so with the 40 armor and plates, I'm pretty sure that this is the single hardest hitting ability that you can get. How disgusting is that? It's very disgusting. That's how disgusting. Greymane with his frickin' thing is the worst. Even more disgusting though is that this has a 30-second cooldown. Okay? So every single time you try to engage with Dragonflight, which is your main way of restoring those plates, that has a 45-second cooldown. Every time you try to go in, there's going to be a cursed bullet in your face. You're essentially fighting every single fight with 60% or less health. And there's nothing you can do about it, really. There's nothing, like, how can you not get hit by this? Like, honestly, I feel like they might need to change this in terms of balancing and make armor affect cursed bullet or something, because it's just gross. It's just disgusting. Against other heroes, it's not as bad, right? Because they tend to have decent self-healing, or the healer throws them a heal, and they're fine. Yes, it sucks, but they're fine. It's the start of the fight. They still have their healing abilities. It's okay, right? It's okay. Well, Deathwing can't get healed by the healer, so there's no help there. He's just, that's 40% of your life gone. Have a nice life, buddy. Have a nice life. Ow. So there you guys go. That's my top 5 list for heroes that counter Deathwing. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below if you have any other ideas or suggestions or alternative talent picks that might work with these heroes. Make sure to like the video if you liked it. Check out the links in the description and in the cards. And I will see you next time for more. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.